Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Kayfabe. And together we're going to get another taste of a little bit of efed content. Today we've got another very special handler here with us. It's the handler of Helena Handbasket. We're going to call you Helena, but I've heard that you also like to be called cousin, or you're somebody's cousin, or everybody's cousin. Explain that one for me.
That actually came from I do more than efetting as forms of roleplay, and I've been in this chat room called Gotham City Limits forever, where I play Kate Kane. And that's the Batwoman, cousin of Bruce Wayne. Well, I'm good friends with the guy that plays Bruce. And so often it's just, hi cousin, and we did one where Kate just breaks into Bruce's Batcave at one point. And he goes, I've got an intruder. And she goes, yeah, I got in through the window. And he goes, God damn it. And she goes, yeah, just call me cousin intruder.
Well, I know your character as Helena Handbasket, otherwise known as Helen Knox. But for
Helen and Maddie, yes.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know the character, or I should say characters, give us the elevator pitch. What do we need to know?
Helena Handbasket is a wacky little thing that is played by a set of twins because I liked the idea of two people coming together to do something that neither of them could really do individually. And that started as like that's a very interesting story too, because I originally signed her up using Kate McKinnon about 2015-16. And I was going through some stuff. My dad was dying at the time, and I was on this roleplay board, Excelsior Wrestling Society. And they were one of those ones that had like a bunch of little sub-feds under their umbrella. And I had a different character in the sub-fed under Empire, and she was doing a storyline of being the only woman in a men's federation because she was, big muscle lady, angry. And this commentator kept goading her. So I wrote this piece where I introduced Helena Handbasket via like the other character calls in the commentator and is like, hey, yo, I have somebody I want you to meet. And so Helena comes by and does her drive-by screw you finisher, which is that high spinning knee. And apparently, despite the fact that the actual guy running that fed that owned that commentator was absolutely fine with it, and I had in fact attempted to ask him permission beforehand to do so, but my ADHD ass had not hit send on the private message, so it was in my drafts. And he was perfectly fine with it after the fact. The owner of the actual board took umbrage with what I did and decided to be like, no, well, Helena's catching a beating on the other show that she's on in a different place, and there's nothing you can do about it. And everybody thought he was being a control freak jerk. So I kind of started thinking like, well, I had always wanted to do something with twins, and I was like, well, what if there's two of them and you just had the wrong one beaten up? Like,
this may be the first time. I have told people before to take the ancillary characters in their role plays and merge them, right? Because, you know how people are. They like to have multiple NPCs, and sometimes they're a little redundant. You say, well, hey, merge them two together, and you can probably streamline the process. I've never seen anyone merge together two wrestlers into one concept before, but it seems like you're having a lot of fun with it.
I love it. It started as like a secret, and it was like these two identical twins that were working really hard together because the one that does all the actual wrestling can't speak. So the other one does all the like talking parts, and I've always made it real clear to Fed heads, don't do the Bella Twins thing, don't magically switch them in the middle of matches, that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
The other one is an acrobat and a choreographer, so...
So is it common knowledge that it's two people, or...
Nowadays, yes. In OCW, we ran a program where Crash Rodriguez's manager, Lou, figures it out. because he's an old Weasley dude that can smell a trick a mile away. And so he figures it out and tries to use it as blackmail. And, basically is like, well, you better let Crash win or I'll tell everyone. And they're like, yeah, that's not the way we work. So they circumvented that by telling everyone themselves.
Right, okay.
And Crash did great. It was a fantastic arc. I did not win that belt because their last match never got aired because scheduling fuck-ups, you know how that goes. But I'm still selling that match because now I'm using that as the one that wrestles, got hurt in that match, and they had to go back to pretending there was only one of them.
Right, okay. So what's the reaction? Once everybody, it's out there, right? There's footage. There's proof that that they exist as two separate people.
Yeah.
What's the crowd reaction? What's the reaction backstage?
The crowd reaction, everybody thought it was a great idea. The Fed head of OCW was all over, like setting it up. Crash was great with it. He was like, oh, you're trusting me with this thing. And I'm like, yeah, I think it'd be perfect. Everybody loves the reveal of the trick. I've had people been like, oh, the inconsistencies make sense, but the inconsistencies are just inconsistencies, guys. But it works, It's like whatever you want to attribute to it being two people, that's, do so.
Now, I have to ask the question. So it's two separate people, identical twins, but they have a wrestling pedigree as well. So you would think it would be pretty difficult to hide that fact, right? So talk a little bit about who their parents are.
Well, the Knox thing happened in separate as and in fact, at first, he didn't even know it was two different people because I hadn't let that one on to him. When he started noticing things, he came to me and he's like, what's up with this character? Because I was like, oh, we were bantering back and forth, and he's like, yeah, I want to do things where Knox just has a ton of kids, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really have a direction for this character, so go ahead, we'll do this. So they didn't really know Knox was their actual dad until their 20s,
Okay.
So we decided that would be a great thing, and he comes to me, he's like, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, there are two of them, and he's like, oh shit, well. So we figured out that Knox is actually closer with the mute one. And we started setting this all up, and we've done a bunch of CD pieces at this point together. And I actually really thank him because it's given me sort of a direction to take. It's given me sort of the ability to individualize them more by having one closer to their new father than the other. Neither of them really like their mother. I don't use their supposed siblings that I made from the mother's side much anymore these days because I'm reducing the amount of work I do.
Sure.
So basically, it's helped out in the fact that now one of them does have a separate identity. I'm kind of starting to bring out the mute as the Atomic Blonde Maddie Knox Jr., and that's sort of what she's doing under her own. They're sort of in the process of breaking up. The reason that I'm still doing the Helena Handbasket shtick is Splat's Calamity Chamber and some other stuff I've got going on with Pride Wrestling once that comes back and is a thing. Just different stuff here and there. But they're in process. I'm working on a thing in Limitless and FCW where I have them where they're basically going to split into two separate characters.
So are they both going to be in-ring talent, but they're going to be working solo careers? I haven't really. I've always thought that, yes, the problem that the one of them isn't a wrestler can be fixed. But I'm hesitant to do that because I think I'd move her more into a manager position for the other one and just have them as separate.
But then, what's the catch with that one? Like, what's the hook? So it's a whole thing that I'm still kind of in process of figuring out, because like most of my ideas, I didn't really think it through. I just did it.
Well, let me tell you, from an outsider's perspective, it's refreshing to see twins in wrestling that aren't the traditional wrestling twins, right? They're not the Usos. They're not interchangeable.
The Bellas, right? They're not like...
Right. So so what
I've
you've got here is...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So you're telling the story of the duality of a person, right? Two different sides of basically the same character, and they are vastly different. So much, in fact, that one of them can't even speak, and the other one it can't fight, right? So that, I think, a lot of people
is out of shape, like snacks, is nowhere. That's why they wear like the layers and layers of clothing. That's why everybody's like, oh, you chose Jodie Whittaker because she's the doctor. No, she's wearing layers and layers of baggy clothing. Like, one of them is fit and in fighting shape and actually like has abs and shit. And the other one sits on the couch and eats a box of Twinkies in one go. Like, they're doing that for the express purpose of hiding their body shape to make it easier to be one person.
So I think where people connect with that is that people have a tendency to be multiple versions of themselves, right? Like, you have you're one person at work or one person at school, and then you're a different person at home. And
everybody masks. Everybody does. Everybody has like the version of myself I show to this group and the mask I wear, and
So that's refreshing, is that when you're put in a circumstance, you have the ability to call on whichever side or whichever twin you need to approach that subject in a fun way. But then you can switch roles and then have the other one put in that same situation, and it becomes a bit of an odd couple situation where it could be a lot of fun, the dynamic between the two.
I'm looking forward to, because right now the one that can't talk is getting to the point where she's super fucking frustrated. Not only has she kind of discovered that she might rather identify as a male, so he might rather, basically that he feels invisible, essentially. Sure. Like, I'm just the one that goes out into the crowd, but I'm not the one that really gets seen, even if I'm in the ring, because they think, like, all the promos and the build-ups, they think that's me. Like, and I don't get to pick the things these promos say. I don't get to, like, the other one just goes out and does whatever the other one wants to do. Yeah. Like,
so that's a great story, struggling with finding your voice, and quite literally, like, in this situation, having no voice.
You just don't have one.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's a neat idea. It's the first I've seen like it. I've seen wrestling twins before, but I haven't seen like this. It's a fresh take on a common wrestling trope.
Yeah. And I was very adamant from the get-go that they're not supposed to switch places. Like, there's only two things that I ever, with this character, getting a snit about, is that don't switch them places in the middle of a match, and don't have the other one, like, stop in the middle of the ring and give a speech. Like...
Yeah. No, that yes, I agree with you on that. So I also see here that one of them is a prankster, or they're both pranksters, or what's the story behind that? What are they, rebellious? Are they just is this something they picked up, from their, is it genetic? What?
Knox does love his pranks. That's for sure. He does love his, tricks on people. But the one that can talk is essentially like a P.T. Barnum type, like sort of a show woman with this like absolute willingness to bend the rules and perception of reality as much as possible. And therefore likes to, like, her whole thing is she's also a bit frustrated because she's like, she feels like, this is the greatest performance of my life and it's being wasted. Like, greatest trick I ever pulled on everybody. It was being two people as one person. And, like, that's over now, and I can't ever do that again, you know? So
Yeah.
she feels a little lost with that, but she's the much more whimsical of the two. She loves going around, playing pranks on people. Well, the other one is sort of more quiet and reserved and serious.
Sure. So what do you have going on right now? Where are they? Where are you working? Who are you working with? What's on the horizon?
They're in the Limitless BWF brand, and it's a little place that my friend is currently expanding. I love Dave. He's a great person, good fed head. And they're circling back around. They had a tag team partner, Logan Bailey, and last year they the one that can't talk got super fucking frustrated and was like, I'm sick of going out here and not getting recognized, and I'm gonna go into business for myself, basically. So that one turned around, and that one's Maddie Jr. That one's Junior. And Junior turned around and stabbed her friend in the back, tag team partner. Took another, because I didn't want to have two characters in the same match. So I was like, swap my characters out. Like, put her in there, take my other character out. Turned around, tapped Logan out of that match. Just tapped him out, eliminated him. Won a world championship for like 3 months because I am the absolute king of short title reigns. Give them to me. I love them. Just let me do let me do as much as I possibly can with it. I don't care how long I have it.
Now, Limitless, are you primarily working in angle feds, or is that a competitive
Yes, yeah.
fed? Okay, so
yeah, I'm an angle fed person. I can do RP. I did OCW as RP. The problem is I just get burnt out too fast.
Yeah.
So I try to Limitless. I try to like limit myself to the things that I can handle. And so right now they're kind of swinging back around to work with Logan again. He's got this briefcase that's the contract briefcase, the standard thing. So we're setting up an angle there where it's going to be the two of them again, and it's going to be like the retribution for Logan.
So now it's going to be Logan and the twins, but it's now common knowledge that they are two separate people.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's the trio of them now, whereas previously it was just two of them. Okay? So
well,
that's interesting.
It's going to be where he's going to get his revenge. Basically, he's going to come in and interrupt her plan. She's going to get that world title back. He's going to come in and basically be like, "Hi, remember me? You stabbed me in the back for this thing. Well, welcome to it." And I'm gonna talk to him about, because I know he'll be down, doing a segment where he's like, yeah, what are you? Like, why do you deserve this? Sure, you can fight well, but somebody else does all your other stuff for you. Like, you literally had to stab several people in the back several times to get this thing twice. Like, I'm sick of watching you basically fake it till you make it. So, I'm handing him all this content to further this character on a silver platter, basically.
So if everything goes the way that you want, where are the characters going to be 6 months from now?
Well, hopefully Maddie Jr. will be Maddie Jr. over in FCW, which is the other place I'm working. And I can't talk about that yet, but there's a special thing coming in their homecoming show, in their debut show, that has to do with Maddie getting to be Maddie, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm absolutely excited for it. Check out Fight Club Wrestling. Serena Riot's handler is a wonderful person, was all on board with this idea.
So when you say Maddie getting to be Maddie, are you talking about like transitioning and displaying?
Quite possibly, yes. Okay. Quite possibly getting to be himself. I'm quite possibly going to transfer that pick base, because right now I'm kind of using separate pick bases for them, but still for promotions and stuff, they're still Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
Mason Dover is probably going to end up like, because the other one still has this flair. They still like to dress dramatically. They still like to dress like, and so, Mason is a big buff male appearing person that has, the beard and the long hair and dresses in a ringmaster's coat. And I just thought that would be like a good look for like, hey, I've come to terms with like, I want to be showy, but I'm making my own way about it.
Sure. And
the other one will continue to be in Limitless, probably go back to OCW once I get my head out of my butt about, having a busy life. Because, I love Dre, who plays, I think, one or two of their siblings. It's so hard to keep track of the Knox siblings. I know what you're trying to do, Knox, but just give me a list for God's right. Just give me a list for God's sakes.
Right. Somebody needs to put out a family tree, right? It's just
right, just give me the Encyclopedia Knox, please.
Right? Okay, so so you're working in FCW, you're working in Limitless, maybe OCW. Who would you like to work with that you haven't been able to?
That I haven't been able to. I know I'd probably have to cross a pond or two for this, but you had them on your show. Todrick Tabor, I would love to work with that character. I would absolutely sign up for Pride whenever that comes back. I know I talked to them briefly about it, then it shut down because they're having problems. And I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I would love to work with Todrick. They seem like wonderful people. I'd love to work with Vodka Black. Yeah, Vodka Black. Let's see, off the top of the head, Griffin Hawkins. I've been in the same place as Griff a couple of times and just ships passing in the night,
Sure, yep.
I'd love to work with Eli Buchanan because his just brand of crazy seems like it would really go well with, the Helena, the Helen twin, and her sort of brand of mischievous insanity. I think that would work wonderful, and we could make a good story out of that.
I can tell you that the names that you're listing there, all great folks. I don't know Eli very well, so I'll have to do some research here. One of the great parts about doing these shows is I get to learn about feds and about handlers that I wouldn't have otherwise met. So Eli is a great name to get on there, and I'll put in the good word with Todrick and see if we can get you involved with Proud House Wrestling. If you haven't,
Proud House, that's it. I've been saying it wrong. I knew I was saying it wrong, but
you were close. You were close. We're right on the cusp of Pride Month here, so maybe we should make it a Proud House Month as well.
Yeah,
and get them a little traction.
Oh, Vance Isaac Parker. I work with the handler on their little bitty fed, Suplex Athletics Company. I'll mention it here. I didn't mention it before because I don't know how. I don't think they want it to blow up super big. So, if you're interested, send them a DM about it. We'll see. But it's a little. So the twins have hit a point where they're like, well, our career's going badly, and so we're going to go back to basically the indies where the wrestling is more important than the promo abilities, even though the one is just having fun, getting to do basically whatever she wants with promos because, well, Gus isn't going to stop her. And they currently hold the medallion there, so they hold the top championship, and I am so happy to be that Feds Jericho, set me up and use me to put over somebody that's worth it and needs it, please.
Traditionally I've been a competitive Fed handler, and I burnt out on it, just like you said you have.
Yeah.
The more that I hear angle Fed handlers talk about angle Feds, the more attractive it sounds. Every one of you are just so happy and excited and appreciative of the stories that you've got to tell there. You have so much more control over what you're doing and what you're saying. It sounds like you've got it all figured out.
Yeah, and even in angle Feds, it doesn't go, it doesn't always go exactly how you plan. I have 3 main pieces of advice for you if you're entering an angle fed.
Shoot.
Pick a good place and work at it. Stick there and put the segments in, be active, make friends. If you don't like it, if it's not working out within the first couple of months, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, you don't feel like anybody's listening to you, leave, because it's not worth it after that point.
Sure.
There are some places that, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to start trouble, but there are some places that have some notoriously bad reputations for reasons in angle fedding. And I get the big difference. Everybody's like, e-fedding competitive, I feel like I earned it. And, I feel like I'm judged more impartially. But the thing is, all e-feds are run by people. All people have biases. All people have their group and their social. So they suffer from a lot of the same issues if you're not careful. In management, anyway.
I mean, running an angle fed is no different than an IRL fed, right? It's like WWE, AEW. Like, there's politics at play, and it's all predetermined, but there are going to be favorites that are played. There are going to be hiccups, right? Injuries. There's going to be,
handlers taking breaks, handlers going MIA.
That's right. So even if you can set a path and write a long-term story, like, you have to also be lucky. Like, it's
you have to also be lucky. You have to get the right things at the right time. And anybody that does good in competitive feds, I absolutely, I adore that. You've done great. It's admirable. But, like, I also feel that in an angle fed, I have to get my character over to the fed head to get them to allow me pushes, and I have to do that all without the benefit of being able to force them to read several essays worth of character development.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Well, I wish I had something clever to say to push the content that we're doing.
Right, and that's not a knock on, like, this stuff is great. Like, podcasts, I love it. I was on CCP, Chris Page,
Yep.
I was on both his smoke sessions and his fireside because I wanted to do one in character. I love Helena as a character. I think I found her voice really. So the talkative one went and sat down, and he will tell you, I did a British accent for an hour and a half and didn't fuck it up. And to this day, I don't know how that happened.
Well, you must have channeled something, it had an out-of-body experience, and it just worked.
I don't know how I didn't fuck it up, but I will tell you that he gave me time. He told me when this was going to happen. He's like, we're going to sit down here. So about an hour before that, I sat down and just listened to Claudia Black doing Morrigan from Dragon Age for like 30 minutes.
Okay, so you've done everything at this point, right? Is that safe to say? You've done all the things?
I've been around.
So what's on your bucket list? What's left to do?
I love little, like, being an inaugural champion, being the first 2-time champion, being like the winner of a tournament, like the winner of a prize. I love little goals like that, little fed milestones, the Grand Slam thing that people normally take for granted, And so I think on my bucket list is to be like, and I'm willing to put into the work for it. I'm not asking for this, but like maybe to have every FCW championship and be the first person, if, that stays active, and be the first character to get all of those in a single, career.
So like a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, to get like the Grand Slam from them, or to like have like one of the end of the year awards where it's like most improved character, or just little things like that. My bucket list is filled with probably stupid stuff that nobody else would want, because I just like things like that,
Yeah. No, it sounds like that you are appreciative of the experience that you've had, which is unique. Because I think a lot of people in e-fetting, they focus on the losses, and I can
Yeah,
say
and
this from experience. I take the losses pretty tough.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's why I don't do competitive. It's because I sit there and I know what I'm capable of on a good day, right?
uh huh.
And I'm just like, I write this role play and somebody else beats me, and I don't focus on why they were better than me. I focus on why I fucked it up.
Sure.
And I get it. But at this point, I'm in angles, I'm doing my thing, I'm pitching storylines, people like them, I'm working on it. Even if it goes sideways or south, I always say absurdity is the emergency exit. You can always just save something by going into deep left field and doing what is fun for you.
Yeah.
You have fun with it. You take joy out of it. First and foremost, take joy out of it yourself. If you're somewhere you don't like, if you're slogging through something, take a break. Don't find somewhere else to be. Like, sure, you're going to have to start over, but you're not going to be miserable about it.
Well, I think you've sold me on angle fence here, and I know that wasn't the intention or the main goal of the show here, but if there's any angle fed heads out there who are looking for talent, I think I have something. Um,
Wonderful.
but for the show today, I want to wrap things up here, and I'm going to give you the chance. Any last words? Anything else you want to promote, push? Anybody you want to shout out to? I'm going to give you the stage and let you run until you're out of breath.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Lish, Suplex Company Athletics, her character Vance Isaac Parker. He is a wonderful, sort of masterful heel. The Suplex Athletics, great little fed that if you have like an old veteran that needs a restart or a young character that you don't know where to put them, come in. We'll take good care of you. It's a wonderful place. I love it. Good experiences all around. Limitless, it's a claw angled fed, so it does the video game simulations. It's very fun. It's very open, so if you've never done it before, come just give it a shot. You can do a drop in, drop out. Dave's not going to ask for much of a commitment from you. Just come in, have a one-off. FCW, I don't know much about it yet because it's not back up and running, but Serena Riot's a wonderful person, great handler. Very sort of, lion mom type. She'll give you all the advice you want, feedback, help you if you're stuck with something. Just very good person, very good handler. Matt Knox, thoroughly asshole, but he saved my character and I'll never not thank him for that. Crash Rodriguez, Dre, OCW. Sure, they can be really rough around the edges, but they're good people at their heart. Yeah, I enjoy e-fetting, and I hope that everybody finds their own home and is happy about it.
Amen. I couldn't say it any better. But I think that's where we're gonna call it today. This has been another episode of Breaking Kayfabe. So for the handler of Helena Handbasket, and for me, the Sauce Boss, and this is Awesome Promotions. Thanks for coming by. Everybody love everybody, and we'll see you all again down the road.